Lesson 26 is about using manipulatives to reduce fractions and adding and subtracting mixed numbers. Now our first problem is to reduce 2/6, and on the side here we have a rectangle with 6 equal boxes. Now if we look at this rectangle with 6 equal boxes and we want to reduce 2/6, what we can do is we can fill in 2 out of those 6 boxes. There's one of our boxes. Now let's get the second of our boxes. If we want to reduce 2/6, that means we want to get it into its lowest terms. Let's go ahead and look at what would happen if we take this line and we pull it out of here. If we take that line and pull it out of here, you can see we now have 3 boxes. If we look at how many are filled in, well, 1 out of the 3 boxes are now filled in. So 2/6 is the same thing as 1/3. And the way we get that is by dividing it by 2/2. 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1, and 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3. We have our final answer. We reduce 2/6 as much as possible. You can draw up pictures like this or use manipulatives in order to solve, or you can divide by 2/2 for a problem like 2/6 to get an answer of 1/3. Let's look at another example. 2/3 of a circle is what percent of a circle? So if we have this one, let's say we color in 2/3 with dots. Here's 1/3. And here's 2/3 that are colored in with dots. Now what percent of a circle is this? Well, what we know is that a circle of thirds, we have 1/3 here, we have 1/3 here, and we have 1/3 on the bottom. Well, 1/3 is exactly the same as 33 and 1/3% all the way around. So if we have 33 and 1/3, 33 and 1/3, and 33 and 1/3%, if we add it up, it's 100%, like our full circle. So 2/3 of a circle must be 1/3 plus 1/3, that's 2/3. Or we could say 33 and 1/3% plus 33 and 1/3%. Now when we add mixed numbers, we can start on the left and add to the right. 33 plus 33, that's 66. And 1/3 plus 1/3, well, we can see 1/3 plus 1/3 must be 2/3. So we get an answer of 66 and 2/3%. That's what we need to do in order to solve a problem like this. Let's move on to our next example. Rory lives 2 3/4 miles from school. He rode his bike to school and back home. How far did Rory ride his bike? So Rory rode his bike. He rode his bike from his home to school. We'll call this home on the left, where we started, and school on the right. So he rode his bike there. It was 2 3/4 miles, or 2 3/4 miles. After school ended, Rory got back on his bike, and he went from school to home. That's 2 3/4 miles. So how far did Rory ride his bike? Well, he rode 2 3/4 miles there, 2 3/4 miles back. To figure it out, we're going to have to add those together. 2 3/4 plus 2 3/4. Let's see what we get. We add the whole parts first. We get 2 plus 2, that's 4. Then we add our fraction part. Well, we've got 3 plus 3, that's 6. And our denominator always stays the same when we add fractions, so we get 4 6/4. Well, 6/4. 6/4. We could reduce 6/4, and that's going to be 4. If we cut both numbers in half, that's 4 and 3 out of 2. Well, 3/2. If we look at 3/2 and we divide it, 3 divided by 2, 2 goes into 3 one time. We get 2 with 1 left over. We get 1 and 1/2 when we report our answer as a mixed number. So this problem of 4 and 3/2, that's really going to be the same thing as 4 plus 1 and 1/2, because 3/2 is the same as 1 and 1/2. Now 4 plus 1 and 1/2, that must equal 5 and 1/2. So we've got our answer. How far did Rory ride his bike? Rory rode his bike 5 and 1/2 miles. We can box our answer, and we can move on to the next question. Now we want to subtract. We have 5 and 3/8 minus 1 and 1/8. We're going to set this up vertically. So we get 5 and 3/8 minus 1 and 1/8. And we're going to work the same process. When we've got mixed number subtraction, we can work from the left to the right. Let's figure out what our whole part is first. 5 minus 1 is 4. We know our denominator will always stay the same when we subtract fractions or mixed numbers. Then we have 3 minus 1, that's 2. And we have an answer of 4 and 2/8. But we want to reduce that to lowest terms. If we look at 2/8, both of those are even numbers, so we can cut both of them in half. We can divide both by 2. 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1, and 8 divided by 4 is equal to 2. So 2/8 is exactly the same thing as 1/4. So we've got our final answer. Our final answer must be equal to 4 and 1/4. The lesson practice will be on page 135. Make sure you got your notes complete, and I'll see you during our next class.